Namaste. Friends, welcome to the Let's Talk Show. Let's Talk Show brings a lot of value in your understanding, knowledge, and overall wisdom. Friends, we bring industry experts, entrepreneurs, and the people, those who have gone through really struggle time, and a lot of inspiration you can get from this show and the talk what these people are doing on Let's Talk Show. I would request you to please subscribe to the channel to get all the notification of all the upcoming videos. In today's Let's Talk Show, we have a very special guest, Sweety Rath. She is in the global role, Vice President Human Resource for the Bain Capital. She is traveling to the world and she is bringing a lot of value. So let's learn from Sweety about her journey, about human resource, and about lot of wisdom what she wanted to share through this Let's Talk Show. Please keep watching all the upcoming shows on Let's Talk Show. Thank you so much. Hi, Sweety. Thank you so much for joining for Let's Talk Show.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Pankaj. Good afternoon, all audience, whoever would be listening to us. And I'm very excited to talk to you again.
So, before this, you were talking about your tour and, the visit to various places. So, since how long you are into, we are starting from this now, since how long you have been, keep on traveling to various places, and how do you feel about, after a long time?
Yeah, so I think, working in a profile which is global, one of the first things it teaches you is adaptability, because you work with people who definitely don't come from similar backgrounds, who do not think exactly like you, who do not look like you, who don't have similar food tastes. So it teaches you inclusion. It teaches you how to appreciate somebody else's thought, their language, their accent. So I have been in global roles for almost now 10 years, and I have traveled a little bit, not a lot, but I mean, the part that I enjoy the most about traveling is meeting people, because you just suddenly learn about a certain culture and your myth bursts. We all have unconscious biases. Okay, West is like this, East is like this. People coming from a certain region behave this way, but no, people are people. They are just they behave or they react or respond to a situation. The situation changes, their response changes. So I love, trying those hypotheses when I'm meeting people. The thing I dislike about traveling is, yes, it takes you away from your family, especially when you're going out for work, and you're often having your meals alone, which is a very difficult thing for me. I need to look at somebody else, in somebody who's known, and eat my food. So sometimes, you are just having like a sandwich or something in your hand and you're on the run. So that is something I dislike, but I think I need to improve on that. But yes, it gives you a lot of me time when you're traveling, especially, long travel, say India to the United States. So you do a lot of self introspection. I go in a different trip. Many times I just sit down alone in the flight and I keep thinking to myself, situations come, you think how you react, how you respond. So I like that part of it. And obviously with the technology in traveling, and post pandemic, there is so much that a travel fills you up with. It opens a wider perspective. So if you travel for work or for personal reasons, doesn't matter. I always tell people who are, like starting out or any stage of their career, make it a point to experiment. Because as you grow kind of, matured and more senior in your career, your risk appetite will only increase if you have done experiments at a younger age. If you have not done, your risk appetite reduces. And then you start thinking, should I put my money into this? Should I put my energy? You're kind of self-doubting all the time. So I encourage that for my son. I just kind of push him into uncharted territory. You'll feel nervous, But yeah, that's life, right? You just get so much thrilled about it. So I love that part of traveling. I wish I could just take my family for sharing my meals, then I'll be complete during traveling.
I like the way, the metaphors you use. I like the examples you use. I like the way you articulate and you relate. And I feel that very few people in I can see, globally do have this type of, the ability to articulate and present it in such a nice way. It's a representation, and that's a quality of a good leader, right? And we know the world best leaders. They are the people, those who can really, who make very complicated things very simplified, and they are very much expert into the way they communicate. Now coming to the question, Asha, Sweety, share about your journey. So this is the second podcast we are doing together. Last time we have been with the other, the colleagues also, other friends also there. So this is the individual podcast, and your thoughts really. Sometime, I go deep into the ideas what you share, and you share. The good thing is that from your heart, you are. I can see while you are talking, while you are sharing, the expressions and the emotions are coming out. So it's not the conversation only for the sake of conversation. It's something, which really brings the value when you speak with the emotions. So share about your journey and how you started, how has been, your journey till now, and highs and lows and everything, whatever you wish to share.
Thank you. And every time I answer this question, Pankaj, the answer is very different from the last time, because as a human being, as a professional, we are evolving, and I'm constantly trying to increase your mind share. So when I look at my journey, I've been working for almost close to 2 decades now, and I come from an extremely conservative Brahmin family in India. And normally, when you come from traditional conservative families, by far, education or academics becomes like your spine of your definition. Life in those days, the 90s kids, like they say, is way simpler. No iPad. In the name of internet was Yahoo and Hotmail, and that's about it. Which used to be in internet parlors. You go to a place where you can just use a desktop PC from Wipro or Dell. So life was way more simpler in terms of you were in your little bubble. But I think the way I was brought up was a very unconventional way, with having an elder brother in the family. Um, there was a very natural inclination for me to one, get inspired, and second, get influenced. I was inspired about everything around me, including my sibling, my parents, the environment, and I was really getting influenced about challenges that the my siblings were facing, especially my brother. Gender, the place I was brought up, was never a redundant feature in my life. I still remember arguing with my mother when I was very young, I think 9 years or 10 years, that you should give me the same amount of milk that you're giving to my brother, because both of us are studying in the same school. So this is a very just a by the way statement. Not that I was very fond of milk, but it was more about trying to say that resources, opportunities are the same. It is very what you call as egalitarian across. It should be given to everybody. So I wasn't up for equality. I was up for equity by then. Now I'm trying to define that. I grew up, I was obviously more inclined towards academics. I always thought that I should make it to an Ivy League kind of a place, because what does it take to be there? Um, Getting into a technical stream of education was a natural choice when you're good in science and maths. And we all know this is something I'm talking at least 23 years ago, right? So you don't have a lot of opportunities to become a dancer and then expect that you will have a career in that. While I was great at some of the extracurricular activities, including being a debater and all of that, but academics kind of made the, I would say, the foundational brick for me. Moved on. I think the first time I challenged myself was I still remember this quite vividly. This was 2004. I had just completed my engineering, and I could not get the amount of percentage I should get to secure my seat in Wipro. I had got a campus selection. So
Mhm.
Wipro sent me a rejection letter saying that while we selected you in your sixth semester, we are unable to honor because you didn't cross the threshold on your average percentage to get it. They had some logic for it, and my brother's wedding was 15 days away when that news broke to me. And I remember just locking myself in a room and, just crying. I thought the world has just ended around me, like I will never ever get up. And today I can tell about it without choking my voice. I don't know what I was then. I was a complete train wreck. And my brother's wedding got over. I was not exactly in the best frame of mind then. And 10 days after that, I booked myself a second class ticket on a train and just went to Bangalore with no job, 13,000 rupees from my, no, I'm sorry, 3,000 rupees from my dad. And I said, I need to get myself a job. And I think that was the rebel in me, which just kept challenging me since then. It's been 20 years almost I'm working. And I'm still in that train, trying to move, one place to the other, and every time going into these uncharted territory. Um, Coming from a technical background helped me to analyze things. I think what I enjoy the most is I spend a lot of time on the why, the what, the how, than the when. I don't spend a lot of time on when because I just feel that if it has to come to you, it will happen. You need to wait for your turn. You cannot be demanding that because there is a bit of a luck that plays in how things and the universe plays out your opportunities. I've been very fortunate to get some great mentors very early on in my life. Um, I did not even realize they were mentors till till very recently that I look back and I say, oh yeah, this person was actually shaping the direction of what the next initiative or the next journey I was taking. Some of them were very hard on me, some of them were very critical about me, and some of them were supportive. And let me tell you, I needed all of them. At that point of time, I was upset about the people who were critical. How can they criticize me? You know, I'm so good, is what you sometimes feel. But today, when I go back and realize, I was like, no, it was my immaturity. That person helped me to see that. So I think I think my journey as a professional is no different from how I have grown as a person. Um, the the most important thing that I hold to myself is my work is my worship, and there is no shortcut to success. You just have to work hard, and you have to continue doing it. In fact, I'll give you an analogy. You will not get every opportunity. There'll be opportunities missed. It's like standing at a bus stop, waiting for the right bus to come. Even if it comes, it's crowded, you're not, unable to board it. But when you're waiting, I
Mhm.
just don't want you to wait. I want you to keep preparing because sometimes you might actually get the right bus or you don't. But when you're preparing, almost every time you are projecting yourself with a higher skill than what you had. Um, this is what is called as relevancy. This is what is the biggest issue that we have in a generation gap or a diversity in generations or generational diversity that we call is people lose relevancy over a period of time. Relevancy only could come in when you are academically um, you know challenging yourself. You are reading, learning, doing the next big thing that's there in the industry, and then you're finding a space to apply that. Sometimes you do it in your job, sometimes you don't get it, but you know what, keep trying. Just don't just sit down and say with it. And the last thing I would always tell this to my audience is don't have a herd mentality. One person can make a difference. You I'm not trying to say that you should have followers or you should be the influencer. Some of us are lucky to do that, some of us are not. But I think not having the ability to lead is coming from a place where you do not have confidence in yourself. So you could be one person fighting that one battle, but that can make a difference. And I think you must have seen this. I mean, there's a Bollywood movie by the name Kesari, right? Akshay Kumar's. It's a very influential movie because it kind of touches upon this particular value that you don't have to quantify your strength or your abilities based on your numbers. You have to quantify based on your grit, your determination, and the most important thing, can you give all in? I'm a person, I always tell this, just just give all in. You know what, you'll get the result. If not here, there is somewhere else that result is happening. But without giving all in, unfortunately, the social media gratification culture that we are all in today, we are trying to basically look at various hashtags and we feel that, oh my God, I didn't get so many followers or likes. So my journey has been give more, expect less, be courageous, and just work hard. It'll come to you.
Beautifully said, Sweety. I'm just remembering the lines by Sophia Loren. Sophia Loren said very nice lines, and a couple of lines goes like this: that often when we lose hope, we think this is the end of the life. God smiles from above and says, "Relax, sweetheart. It's not the end of the life. It's just a bend of the life."
Correct. Yeah.
So the metaphor what you shared, that if you miss one bus, another bus is going to come, and are you really preparing for yourself? That's the thing. Now coming to I feel that there are two things going on in my mind. I should really go for the HR one, and but the way you shares it pulls me towards going towards a lot of emotional kind of things. Share couple of lows and the highs of the life. And why this is important, because anyone, irrespective of any function, any industry, these are the basics for how to live a good life, happy life, and that's gives you the bigger purpose of life.
I think I'll start with the lows because most of the times you value the highs in life only when you've gone through the low. That is how the sinusoidal curve works. Like success is not final, failure is not final also. It is the courage to continue that actually counts. I think that is my fundamental of low. In life, I have gone through, at a very young age, I've gone through, a difficult marriage, physical violence, and I was barely 24 and all of it, walked out of the marriage, and it was very difficult for somebody who is 24, 25 years of age to um, first of all understand, then relate to what's happening in the society, and then have the courage to say that, listen, I cannot be treated the way anybody else decides me to treat with. I think I hit a low point 2006, 2007. Um, and the first thing that I did was I went and learned driving a car. Um, it just taught me a fundamental thing in life, which today at 42 I'm able to share, is when you when you are physically movable, you are mentally able to support your freedom, and hence you then start thinking how will you become financially independent. um, I think that was like one of the lowest points in life. I gathered myself, went and did my first MBA with Symbiosis. It was a very difficult journey for my parents because many of the times they thought that they were responsible in many ways to get their only daughter go through such kind of a life event trauma. My elder brother, who no matter how much he troubles me, he feels that that is his only right to trouble me. Nobody else can do. Very disturbed. But I used to always put my chin up and tell this that thank God it happened rather than why God this happened. Because it's not about that you will not face problems. It's about how you face the problem. I'm not saying I was perfect. I was emotionally low. I made mistakes. I would have definitely broken glass in that situation. But it took me few years. But one thing I did not leave during that. Uh, that came in from my value system and my academic bent of mine was my career. I kept working. I just kept working. I was not counting the days. I was not counting the months. I was not counting, am I lonely? Do I have a boyfriend? What is my status socially? Married, divorced, single? Nothing. I just kept working because I just realized success doesn't have a gender or a tag. Financial independence, financial stability does not come to people who hold a certain emotional makeup. It comes to people who work hard. And that just kept me going. Um, every time I have hit lows in my career, I've always looked back and said, if you could handle that, this is nothing. So deriving, I mean, every time people say, forget and forgive, I want to challenge and say, never forget, but let go. So you're not forgiving anyone. You're not forgiving a situation. You don't put yourself at a podium, make yourself so important that I'm going to forgive. Just let go. You don't get everything. There's a very famous saying in Hindi, right? सबको मुकम्मल जहां नहीं मिलता, किसी को जमीन नहीं मिलती, किसी को आसमान नहीं मिलता. That's fine. What is important is what you have, and are you able to value with your patience? Are you able to connect that with your gratitude? And finally, are you able to share that with somebody who is even more less privileged? um, my highs in life, of course, are, I don't know, I mean, I'm just intoxicated with life. Let me put it that way. Every single day when I get up after my crazy hours of working and crazy hours of getting up and feeling guilty that I didn't go to the gym, I didn't work out, and the usual thing, I must have binged something really unhealthy on the weekend. I still try to just do one thing, that is do internal cleansing by focusing. I ask myself every single day when I get up, and I think that is something I attribute to my greatest success. How am I conditioning my mind to focus? Today, when I got up in the morning, I only had one focus, to talk to you till 3 o'clock. And I did not plan what I will do. Today is a Saturday. The guilty mother in me will say, "Oh, you work 5 days so hard. You should take your son out, spend quality time." I didn't do all that. I said I have to give my 100% to Pankaj today for his talk show. Have a good lunch, and maybe sometimes just relax. These smaller things, these smaller what I call as a success currency, is what is the equity I gain. Yes, you hold fancy titles, you have global roles, and you have people reporting to. That happens to everybody. Um, Another important thing that I always try and practice, and I will always request people to do is treat people with respect. If you want to be treated with respect, I think I feel very sad sometimes when I see that increasingly the society around us is kind of forgetting the ratio of the number of ears and the number of mouth God has given to us. We use this more than hearing this. And what in that process happens is we always try to be at a point that we know it all. Maybe we know it all, but I think change that attitude, like what Satya Nadella says, learn it all, not know it all. Because there's always somebody better than you. And I've been God has been so kind, and I've just been in situations where uh, my growth as a person has just happened, where I'm able to train my mind to see good in everything. We all need to remember one thing: positivity is a choice. It does not come to you as two sides of a coin that you flip and say, today I'll be positive because the coin flipped positive. And your happiness, your success depends on your quality of thoughts. You cannot blame your parents, your spouse, your partner, your children, your boss to say that, I didn't get job satisfaction, I'm not getting appreciated. It's a choice. In life, all of us have a choice to say yes and no. What we struggle with is dealing with the consequences of the yes and no. So I train my mind. I'm still work in progress, like most of us, to look at this positivity as a choice. I succeed few times, I fail a lot of times. And I will tell this with complete humility that every time I fail, I just realize I need to try harder.
Great. More I know that how much I don't know. So, so talking to you is just like this, more I listen to you, more I learn from you. I think at the same thing, applies to our audience also, right? So this is something, which is very good and really creating value for our audience, and especially for the girls and the women, those are facing failures, those are ridiculed and, insulted, or maybe whatever you see the gender inequality and like this. I feel that this will be inspiring all those people, those who really wanted to come up and dealing with the everyday, every hour, every minute, every second challenge, and and like this. So now coming to the people, those who face failure. Right. So I personally believe that failure is preparing you for the next, and failure is the highway to success. Fail better, better and better and better, and like this. How do you see this, and what would you like to share with your thoughts?
No, absolutely. I think that's a great way of articulating failure. In fact, failure, unfortunately, was a word in the vocabulary. We have just given a negative connotation to it. Everything in life has opposite. Like there is white and there is black. We use both the colors uh, in the way we want to represent our thoughts. But black always gives a connotation of being dark. But I think black is always considered as one of the most favorite color by any fashion designer, by anything that shows power. White is more pristine because that is how we have conditioned our mind, and that's the problem with failure and success, the conditioning of our minds. I think you know there was when I was preparing for my engineering, and in your teenage, when most of us are trying to figure out what do we want to do. You have all these coaching centers that were mushrooming across the country. And back then, you had multiple entrance examinations for multiple colleges, not like what it is right now, much more integrated. So you used to have these advertisements in the billboards going out: IIT IIM Alumnus Coaching Center, coaching center from alumnus of NIT. So mm, you used to wonder, okay, so these people have made it to IIT and they know how to go crack the IIT examination. So they have opened a coaching center. Now they're going to teach others how to do it. I used to wonder, looking at those billboards, if they went to IIT and then opened a coaching center, why the hell do I want to go to IIT? That was my thought. That was my immaturity too, to look at things just painted with one broad stroke of color. So in one of that processes, I met somebody, and that person did not clear IIT, because whatever rank he got was always not in any. And he was in the he really wanted to share his story of why he could not make it. So he told me something very interesting. He said, Sweety, there are, for example, there are 50 questions and you need to get 32 right to make it to the minimum cutoff. I may not know which are the 32 that I have to get correct, but I know which are the 18 I made a mistake. And that struck with me for a very long time, that how can somebody with their will change adversity to an advantage, can make their failure not a stepping stone for success, but as a learning tool for others. So where you're failing in one place, you're actually succeeding in somewhere else. Your problem is perspective.